Are you out there? Is anybody out there? I returned to record another log. I've fallen ill for the last 10 days or so. Just now recovering. It's tough with these unusual pathogens. Always pushed to the limits. Unusual environments. Always up until recently, a shortage of food. But I'm feeling strong enough to make a report, as if we don't ceaselessly push back, the unrelenting Xenos will destroy us. Now, I had an interesting conversation over a meal in recent days with one of the tech priests, commenting on these Terrans who seem to be able to perforate the space-time bubble enclosing our small pocket dimension. They seem to be able to do it rather easily, and they've taken some scans. It seems as though if we can do a bit more research or capture the proper technology, we may be able to make our own breach through. Now, it's not that I'm not anxious to find these Terran Xenos, these xenomorphic monstrosities, where they may exist and exterminate them completely. I can't imagine them being unleashed with their high level of technology and rapaciousness for, Terran flesh upon the greater galaxy. Although I don't think they'd be any threat to the Imperium at large, they could cause quite a bit of harm and suffering for all Terrans. And if the Imperium's about one thing, it's about mitigating the suffering of its citizens. But beyond taking the fight to the Xenos, it may allow us to get back to real space. Rescue all of our people after all these years we've spent here in the void. I know children have come up never knowing the God Emperor of Man, knowing nothing but the war we propagate against these fiddling, unusual xenospecies. Well, at any rate, the hunt for superior technology, at least when the Terrans aren't attacking us, I would say is going to be located here. This creature, some sort of fearsome AI-minded battleship. Almost titanic in portions. Our best scans indicate there are no life signs on board. Nothing that would indicate any sort of food sources coming or going. And clearly it's ancient. As far as we can tell, it's been the same orbital path, slowly correcting over time for millennia. And most biologicals we know of wouldn't be able to tolerate that. I think we should take the fight to the Guardian, try and capture her, and see if it will help us unlock a technology that will puncture a hole through this bizarre little space-time bubble and get us back into the real galaxy. So, that being said, ultimately at this point, we control a full 2/3 of all the systems in the galaxy. The mini-galaxy. I don't see the Darlock, nor the Alkari, nor the Sakra posing any resistance to us. I think even if we fought all of them at the same time, it wouldn't matter for their sake. So I think it is time for us to refocus our efforts on the Guardian. I thought for an initial test, we could throw these Xeno fleets against the creature. What do you think? What do we really care? We'll hold back perhaps our one Purger, just because it's, one of ours. We'll throw the old Purger one in, but everyone else. Yeah? Yeah, that's what we'll do. We will send them against the Guardian now. Oh, what happened there? Boom. There we are. Fleet inbound. How many ships of the line do we have? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, plus a Cobra, cruiser, I believe, from one of the Xeno species. So that, along with a single one of our ships, one of the old Purger 1.1s, obviously, we can't deny a little bit of Terran technology a chance to bite at the apple of victory here as they take on this Goliath. So, we believe there is a planet in the system based off of our astrometric scans. Seems to have extremely rich metal veins and mineral veins right at the surface, easily accessible, as well as it seems to be extremely well suited to our biology for growing food and habitation. That being said, let's get a colony ship generated quickly. Maybe it's Zoth? How quickly could they get us something off of the Zoth system? Well, they have a Purger 1.5 in production. Let's just repurpose that. We'll find a million volunteers at the Manufactorium. They, I'm sure, would be happy to go start a new life on a pristine new world. Who wouldn't jump at that opportunity? Well, whether they jump or not, they'll be on this colony ship. We'll hit OK. And yes, it'll be produced in a single turn. That's fantastic. They'll be able to join right along on the heels of the battle fleet. Other than that, let's continue the war at Tarkuta. We have another system to capture here. Which one? Yeah, Tarkuta 1. Well, hopefully I can send the command. There we go. Tarkuta 1. We'll jump in using our normal methods. We'd like to lose as many ships as possible, obviously. So we will fire everything we can onto the planetary surface. We've all seen this fight many, many times. What else do we got here, folks? And of course, we'll take the small star base using our Marines once we punch through the shields. That should just be a matter of about 2 rounds of combat as our fleet closes the distance. It's almost become exhausting at this point, wiping the Xenos from colony after colony. I would be willing, honestly, to give the command at this point to just exterminate everyone on the surface, but humans got to spread. That's kind of the main thing that the Terran population does, is make more Terrans. It's probably the greatest strength right after the Emperor upon his golden throne. He is our greatest overall asset, though. Humanity would have folded long ago if not for the Emperor and the beacon he's provided for humanity to follow. Missile ship away. Ooh, I didn't need to close the gap with the missile ship. I just needed to get the missile salvos off. Now they're going to target missile. I can almost guarantee you. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. Closing in. Should I even bother firing? I got one of the missiles. That's not bad. Done. Closing the gap. Firing away. Done. We may be able to get within range. I don't know if... let's punch through. We'll wait on this ship, because we may just be able to get through. Done. Fire again. Shields are down on the celestial southwestern quadrant. And we'll have our remaining ships fire away on the planet here. Shouldn't be too much longer to sterilize that. Especially with the missile. I must say the missile really does put a lot of warheads on planet. It's a great ship for that. Done. And this time I will fire from the missile ship many missiles away, and we will hit retreat for that smaller ship, so it has a chance of surviving the incoming flight, and we will raid. Perfect. We managed to capture it. 1 Marine lost, unfortunately, but 20 Xeno Marines killed. The ship is captured, and we will hit done. Warheads impacting planetary surface now. You see damage results coming back as all major points of an inhabitation are eradicated from the surface. All military points. We'll send our 20 Marines in. They have no chance. No losses. We lost a power suit. Wow. How did they manage to take out one of our Marines? Interesting. I do notice the Sakura benefit a +10 on their combat bonus from their subterranean bonus. That is a defensive bonus only, though. Alright, well, another planet falls under our sway. We will get some colonists en route there. And this is Simac. What does Simac need? Geez, are we ready to start going for battle stations? I suppose. Let's... on some of these planets, I suppose we could start fitting those out. We will annihilate, of course, the Xeno infestation. Changing over here, and they'll need some Marine barracks to hasten that process. Want a missile base, starport, starbase, stock exchange, computer, and a holo simulator. That'll be suitable for the time being. We'll hit return. Freighter fleet completed here on Rigel Prime. What else do we want to work on? I wouldn't mind getting some more Purgers geared up. We will need them if we're going to go try and take the Terrans in their strong spot, their strong place. We don't really know what to expect there. And I will send the colony ship? No. Yes. Let's go for it. A lot of what we do as Terrans is act with confidence. It's possible our fleet will be annihilated, but the colony ship will follow along one turn after the battle to hopefully seize the prime Gaia world of Orion for our own. What do we have here in orbit at Rigel? Interesting. Just a troop transport. We'll send that on to Ramad for the time being. We have a few ships backing up at the Slaw system, including a missile. That's really just to help deter a counterattack. I see Zona has quite a few transports. I wouldn't mind watching them go toe-to-toe with our Marines on the surface. Huh. I wonder if I retreated these ships off if I could bait them. No, they would go to Delta if they wanted to. They could be baited. They'd be coming at Delta right now. That's not happening, which is fine. What do we have in orbit at Thog? A massive number of ships. Interesting. I'm debating whether we should pull together. I don't know how long it would take to get what we need to launch an attack against the Terrans. I really don't know what the power level involved would be. But I'm going to leave Draconis be for now. Because again, I am more anxious in opening up the key to our long-term survival and our escape from this pocket dimension than simply massacring the remaining Xenos. Again, I don't hate the Xenos nearly so much as they hate me and other Terrans. And that is why we exterminate them. The fault lies with the Xeno, never with the Terran. So, we will advance the turn. Combat at Tarkuta. I'm going to hold on to combat at Tarkuta for now. I'm much more interested in this battle against the Guardian. Interesting. Massive damage. They bypassed all armor and the shields went down, doing a little bit of structural damage. Interestingly, though, one of our old Vipers, one of the Xenos' old Vipers, is capable of surviving the attack. And I see some sort of massive plasma energy weapon en route. So, yeah, let's start firing on the Guardian here. Let done. And, yeah, we'll move all ships in as aggressively as possible. And actually, we should throw a scan here as well. We are digging into the shield. We're able to hit it. Let's do a scan. So, this creature has a beam attack of plus 175, a beam defense of 100. So, that 100 is good, but that's why we're able to hit. A missile evasion of 125%. That's considerable. Combat speed of 10. Zentronium armor. 800 structure, 800 armor. That is a significant amount of damage that can absorb. With a class 5 shield, blocking 5 damage, maybe more. I'm trying to figure out the numbers, but the shield strength is at 125 at full strength, but we will eat through that here, I'd imagine, with this many ships. They are sporting Death Rays, heavy mounted. That's a weapon I'm not familiar with. Particle beams, point defense. Plasma torpedoes with a alternating turn firing rate. They're enveloping. ECCM, electric countermeasures, and overloaded, which I am going to assume causes them to hit with quite a wallop. As well as 2 spatial compressors. I, again, am not familiar with that technology, although it is all weapons are mounted on a 360-degree angle. They have an Achilles targeting system, battle scanner, inertial stabilizers, multi-wave ECM jammer, automated repair unit, hard shields, lightning field, and range master unit. I get the feeling that if we don't deal enough damage quickly enough, that automated repair unit may bring this ship back to life. To our horror, right before our eyes. I'll hit done. And let's continue to bring our ships in. See if we can dig through this frontal shielding here. Still up. Wow, this is a tough ship. Now, we have a whole lot of warheads that are going to be en route here. You see a lot of these ships are loaded with as many as 4 nukes. Now, I don't know that many of those are MIRVed, which isn't great, but we've got a lot of ships, so let's see what we can do. Can we dig through? Yeah, front shields are down. That took half the fleet. I could give weapons free command, but kind of enjoy watching the show. It's not like we get to fight an AI monstrosity every day. Occasionally in your career, you'll come across that as a rogue trader, but not every day. Not every day. I've heard stories. Let's get the ship in here. I'll tell you, one of the faults with the strategy is that these ships are coming in at poor angles. Maybe I can drive them more to the center to get a better shot into the heart, bypassing that shielding. Oh, that didn't hit Jack. All right, let's try the same thing here with this ship. Oh, wow, that is a pathetic weapons range. It was a good hit, though. We're nearly down to it. Yeah, we're going to be wasting a lot on these shields. You got to remember, those shields will be able to regenerate to a certain degree. But we've got a lot of ships. Let's see what happens. What's going to happen next? We'll find out. Graviton beam did not fire. Interesting. Out of range. Oh, it is what it is. We'll hit done. There goes one of our ships to the line. There goes another one. Oof. It's interesting. Some sort of lightning field. I guess that is the spatial compressor or the lightning field that's able to resist those incoming missile salvos. But we did start digging into the armor. Not a lot. So let's start just firing point blank here. That was a pretty satisfying crunch. Yeah, let's get these ships stacked up. While these shields are down, we'll just give it everything we've got. Now, bear in mind, we don't have tractor beams on these Xeno ships, so we won't have the option to try and board her. Although I could see... Oh, that was kind of a mistake. Shoot. Trying to get everything oriented properly to bring as much damage in as I can on the weakened shield positions. I could see our Purgers immobilizing the ship with tractor beams and attempting to board in what would be a sacrifice play. Although I don't believe there are Marines on this monstrosity. There aren't. It's possible there's no way to board it. There may be no internal corridors that are serviceable by Marines in armor. It may be nano machines or such technology that moves through very small conduits throughout the ship to facilitate the repairs. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. We're going to get a lot of nukes on this thing, though, on the next salvo. I don't know if its lightning field will allow it to fire again and again. I really am not sure. Purger 1.0 is not inflicting a lot of damage, I can tell you that. Not great. But we've done a fair amount of damage to that shield. Gosh, if we could just get those nukes on target, it seems to just really effectively destroy them, though, with that I assume, the lightning field technology. Well, it's the Guardian's turn. Let's see what happens. Missiles coming in. Point defense firing. It's rotating its shields to us. Interesting. And again, rotating. Wow, the mobility of this thing is incredible. But our nukes were able to deal some damage. But I see it's already repairing as quickly. Yeah. I'm going to go to weapons free. Or should I retreat these ships out? I'll retreat the ships out. I would rather have... Yeah. You can see that it's already repaired some of the damage we've done. It will repair faster. I'm not going to sacrifice... Remember, there's no Xenos commanding these ships. These are our people on these ships fighting and dying. Now, although I don't care about the ships, I do care about Terrans. And we will combine them with a much more powerful fleet We'll see how many of the ships we can recover. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we'll fight to the end. I'm not going to give the command to auto-destruct. That's not how we roll. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, we will get our Purgers en route and in queue and see what we can do. Quite a few Purger 1.5s just came online. We'll keep pushing ahead with that design. Oh, wow. Quite a few Purger 1.5s. This is impressive, actually. Atmospheric. Well, geez, that's actually great. This is Terra 3. 0 pollution running right now. That's a good sign. We'll continue with the Purge 1.5 design. I'm not exactly sure how many of these it's going to take to get this done. But let's combine all ships at Ramad at this point. Oh, there. There. That ship's en route. Can we pull off the colony ship? Yeah. We can divert to Ramad at this point. Perfect. And we'll send the remaining ships from Dolts. And can we pull this ship out, the missile? Yes. I honestly don't think a couple of missile ships would hurt us. I think they could do quite well for us in a fight against something like that. Potentially, it is a lot of warheads. I can't seem to gain control of the ship. I can't contact them yet. They're not near enough to Dolts, unfortunately. And I'm going to pull these ships back as well. I'll leave Tarkuta for the time being. I really want to just throw everything we have into there. Gammas just finished another transport. Excellent. We'll hit done. This ship did arrive. We'll send the missile on to Ramad. We'll hit turn. We completed the Recyclotron. Allows scrap material reuse, reducing construction costs. Every unit of production generates 1 production. This increase does not count towards the planetary pollution level. It's not a bad way to bolster production. You can see we've completely completed the 1500 RP level, and we're on to the 2000 here. There's amazing stuff. I see the phasers down here look very nice. Anything the Marines would really like. AMATs, Microlight Construction, Astro University. Who cares about that? Yeah, let's see. Phaser rifle? I think so. That's what our Marines would like. So that's what they'll get. Even though we may be moving a bit away from Marine combat, the stronger our Marines are, ultimately, the better the Terrans will stand. I see we have a bit of a deficit up here, but we've got a sufficient amount of surplus capital for the moment. Spies completed. Let's switch that over to... Do we need a Recyclotron here? Nah, no pollution at this point. Let's move everyone over to the Persia 1.5. And we'll advance this all these ships to Ramad. Gammas just completed a couple more troop transports. In next turn.
GNet with news comes first. A violent earthquake hit the colony of Monkar 3, killing 4 million colonists in the Alkari Empire and destroying 3 buildings.
It's great news. It's a titanic earthquake. I love it.
And now, in a GNet exclusive story, your empire numbers 28 star systems, more than any other empire.
Thank you, Man of Gold. I appreciate it. What do we have here? Many more products completed. Another Persia 1.5. Fantastic. We will continue with additional production on those. We finished terraforming here at Kadath Prime. We have a bit of pollution. Might be worth getting that atmospheric renewer, the pollution processor done there. We'll follow that up with a weather controller as they do a bit of farming on that planetary surface. Missile base completed on Zubin. It's good. As I see, they have a star base hanging in the sky as well. What's Zubin rocking? Quite a bit of food production. So let's push ahead on the weather controller. And how about an atmospheric renewer? I'm not going to jump into the Recyclotron just yet unless we know we're really going to need it. And again, I'm going to continue to push all ships towards Ramad. We've nearly got everything there that we're going to need. I mean, obviously, we're going to keep generating more and more ships as we go each turn. The Xenos don't seem to be counterattacking against us. So transport completed. Yeah, let's continue on with the Purger. No pollution here at Gammas Prime. Ooh, a considerable amount of pollution on Simac 4, though. Roughly 25% of our production is going to waste. So one of our workers' entire production of the 4 of them is being wasted. So we do need to get on top of that. Let's get a pollution processor, followed by an atmospheric renewer, and then how about a weather controller? We'll hit OK since we are farming there. Purge 1.5 completed, and we have actually a significant bit of pollution at Moretta Prime. So yes, atmospheric renewer, and we'll leave it at that. No farming on this planet yet. Purge 1.5 here, New Terra 2. Yeah, you know what they would love is the Recyclotron. That may, well, you know what? It'll give them more production if it doesn't reduce the pollution. So I'm not going to complain about that. Mentor 2 is a farming world. They just completed a spy. What else could they use? Let's get that weather controller for them since they are working on generating their own food surplus, which I approve of in all cases. Let's adjust that tax rate. That is a surplus. Holy cows on the taxes. That is impressive. And of course, we'll send additional ships to Ramad, but I'm debating what level of fleet we will need to take on the Guardian based off of what we saw. Now, we sent a relatively outdated fleet on towards them. So here we have a few of the old Xeno ships, but a lot of our modern Purgers, which certainly the tractor beams would immobilize the thing. Whether or not we can board it, I don't think we can. But we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 30. Okay. This is the fleet. This is the fleet that will take that out. Especially with those 4 missile ships. Let's go. Let's launch. It's going to be everything we've got, but I think we can take Orion. Next turn. Supercomputer completed here on Mentor Prime. A little bit of pollution. Not really worried about that. Let's get the biosphere, though. Let's get a few things finished up for them. Yeah, and we'll get them the atmospheric renewer to help out. Hit turn. Give them a couple things to work on. Simac's looking great. 0 pollution. They're not farmers. They got their battle station done already. Oh, that is impressive. Look at that beauty. Hanging there like a gem in the sky. That is a tough nut to crack. And yeah, we're exterminating people at Ramad. Oh, we need to get a colonist en route. So help me remember that. This looks good. Let's get that Purge 1.5 done. Tarkuda. We have a little bit of pollution. No farming here. Yeah, let's get a Recyclotron. See if we can clean that up. We'll hit return. Good amount of pollution here on New Terra 2. You know how that is. We'll hit turn. Yeah, we're not going to get rid of that. I'll tell you. Let's get the Purger, and we'll throw a battle station in there for good measure after that one. That's one of our most valuable planets. So, yes, we want to get some colonists sent off to Tarkuda. Let's steal someone from Null, I think would be reasonable. So we're sorted by name. We'll jump to Null. We will grab one of these workers, and we will scroll down to the Tarkuda system. Got everyone we need at Ramad. That looks good. Oh, well, we actually need 2 people to Tarkuda, so we'll send off that first colonist, and let's grab another colonist from Null real quick. Here is another workman. We'll grab him off Null too, so we're not bleeding the one system too dry. My comms are lighting up right now, but it can sit. It can sit. Back to Tarkuda, and there we go. So in 3 turns, we'll at least have a proper colonist, proper Terran on each of those worlds, working a way to improve it for the betterment of us all. Next turn, Alkari fleet attack Terran Prime at colony of Ramad Prime. Fascinating. The Alkari have taken the fight to us. Oh. A single ship. They're testing our defenses. Let's scan. This is fantastic. This gives us a chance to see what they have. Beam attack of +90, beam defense of 120, and a missile evasion of 57. That is not a good enough missile evasion for what we're packing. I can tell you that. Zortium armor, but sitting at 200 structure and 200 armor because they're not using heavy armor or reinforced hull. So although 200 is not horrible, Zortium armor is significant. It is a paper tiger, as we've come to call them. This ship is not amazingly overmatched. I see they are running graviton beams, which is no joke, with some antimatter torpedoes. Technology we haven't fiddled with much ourselves. But security stations, shield capacitor, I'm not impressed. Let's see if we can punch back. We have a missile base and a star base. Let's see what a salvo of 12 Mercurite missiles will do. An infinite supply. I'll hit done there. And then, yeah, let's target with the star base. We have our own graviton beam. So it's kind of graviton beam versus graviton beam. We'll see what happens. We're able to connect. We do have to burn through that shield. I'm not saying that's not a considerable amount of shielding, but our missile base is only taking moderate damage from those initial salvos. Another volley away, and we'll fire again. Chewing through the shield only slowly, but we're going to rely on our missiles to really do the damage here. There you go. That's a significant chunk of damage. Remember, she's only sitting on 200 armor, 200 structure, folks. We have a lot of life left in our missile base. Now, there are 4 torps coming in. They're antimatter. We all understand what that means. It's a significant warhead, but it'll take several salvos to scour away that missile base. So we'll continue the fight. And now that their front shields are down, we should be able to dig straight in. Graviton beams ripping the ship apart. And we're even digging into structure there, right through the armor. I can only imagine they're going to retreat. What? Fight to the death? It's fine. I can respect a bit of bravery. They're already immobilized. That was a suicide mission. I have no idea what the point of that was for the Akari, except potentially to scan us and to test us. Fair enough. We did that with the Guardian, but that's a AI monstrosity. Here we go. The Guardian attacks the Terrans at Orion system? No. We're attacking the Guardian. There you go. There you go. This will do it. Now, I am going to go weapons free. It's too many ships for me to command at a micro level. Just enjoy the show here, folks. Hopefully we can track what's happening. Don't want to do that. I'm debating. I'm afraid it might just fly by so fast. No. I'll command it. It's fine. Let's get in there. Let's give it everything we've got. We will immobilize and we will see what happens, and we will try and board it. So we'll give it everything. I'm not able to turn it properly. That's unfortunate. So as we know, it'll take a turn to dig through these shields. But I will try and bring the ships in towards the middle for the maximum firing arc efficacy. She's not immobilized yet with 4 tractor beams on her. I am surprised. Can't get that tractor beam on, unfortunately. Yeah, this is where it's going to start getting hairy here, folks. Some of these smaller ships or these older ships will just have fire. We don't need them to necessarily get in a great spot. This tractor beam will land. There she goes. She is immobilized. That could really help us if she can't reorient her shields to us. That could be a huge boon. And of course, next round of combat, we will attempt to board as we close the final gap between it and us. I'm hoping the sheer number of warheads we're going to curse upon this monstrosity, even with its lightning field, it will not be able to stand against the onslaught. You know, there's only so much physical energy dump any material or structure can take before it is incorporealized. Is that the word? Reduced to its constituent parts. Yeah. Atomized. Yeah. We've got, I think, enough firepower to get the job done here. We're digging through the shielding quite nicely on 2 quadrants. And again, I don't think it'll even be able to rotate due to that tractor beam web. It done? The mobility we saw on the ship last time with its ability to rotate and then rotate back upon itself, almost as though it had 0-point energy turning, it defied conservation of momentum as far as our text could tell. Very advanced technology, but I don't think it'll be able to even rotate, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but hopefully I know what I'm talking about. Fire again. No tractor beam on that one. Oh, there we go. There's another tractor beam. That is a whole boatload of tractor beams, folks. It's one of the largest battles, if not the largest I've ever commanded personally. But it's pretty easy. Fire everything. Give it everything we've got. Both barrels. And, yeah, I'd say we're digging through pretty well. Shielding's completely down on 2 quadrants now. That means everything we pump into this ship is going to go directly into armor. And I actually see us bypassing a bit of armor and hitting into structure with some of these ships. Wow, they're getting really far away here. Try to pack them in as closely as I can. Like Terrans in their house. You know what I'm saying? I'll get this sucker in here. Can we rotate? Yeah, we got a little bit of rotation there. Fantastic. That is a nice firing cone. Firing again. And pretty much everything's able to hit to various degrees of efficacy. Wow. Will it survive? It'll survive this first salvo. I wonder. Any bets? Any of the captains out there want to make a bet? Any of the Astrotechs? Will it survive what's coming in on it right now? It's a tough ship, but it's got a quantifiable amount of structure and armor here. So, not infinite. Not infinite at all. We're still dumping into it. Stacking these ships in as tightly as we can. This is just something to see. I'll try and rotate that ship and then fire. Wow. It's almost getting ridiculous at this point. Oh, and bear in mind, we do have those missile ships back there, which will be, again, a significant amount of warhead dumpage. And we will close in the missile ships in this fight. It's kind of all or nothing. Here we go. They're getting in tight. That means those missiles will be able to cover that distance in a pretty timely fashion, which I don't mind at all. I'm so fascinated to see if this ship can rotate, try and worm out. Get in there. Yeah, it doesn't really need orientation. There we go. That's everything. Let's see what happens. One of our battleships down and second one down. And then here goes those lightning fields. Will anything get through? I can't see any damage numbers coming up. Some amount of damage is hitting. 30. Can it just absorb everything? I'm not exactly clear on what dictates whether the warheads... And somehow it restored some of its shielding already? How is that possible? I guess it's its turn? Wow. Let's get in and let's see if we can board. Monsters may not be boarded. Okay, we're going to go weapons free at this point, folks. I can see it's healing already, but let's just let everyone get in. And now that the shields are down, maybe they can't stop the particle beams, the graviton beams, the fusion beams, the auto cannons. We'll just give it everything at point blank. See what happens. I don't think those missile ship salvos have necessarily impacted yet either. You can see all the weapons are firing free, though. Completely, no shielding whatsoever. I'm surprised they're not closing in closer. I would imagine some of the ships would do more damage at point-blank range. I could be wrong. We can retreat the fleet out if necessary, but again, I would be really surprised if this isn't enough to get the job done. That ship hit really well. Not really able to see its health too much. It's not giving me a good refresh on that, unfortunately. Again, we're aiming for around 1,600 points of damage. Popping it off at a little over 30 per ship on average. Missiles away, another battleship down. Let's see how she does here. Oh, I do see down here quite a bit of damage there. Immobilized, as we were saying. Are any of those warheads getting through? My goodness. That's a catastrophic amount of wasted warheads. It's an extremely efficacious weapon, the lightning field projector. Wow. We'll give it one more round of combat, and then we may withdraw the fleet. We'll see. I know the missile ships have already expended everything they have. It's just a question of whether we can drive. I'll tell you what's bothering me is why are our ships not getting in there? She's going down. Yeah, let's just close the gap. Right? That's a good solid hit. Why are all our ships not just getting in? I feel like I'm missing something. Right there. Point blank. Everything she's got. Everything we've got. Wow, this is, well, I'll probably just fire from here on this one. So armor's gone, structure's nearly gone. I think we can crack this nut. Rotate, fire. Ooh, that was a significant. What is that, the Purge 1.5? Not exactly sure how it's hitting so well, but it's definitely squeezing out a bit more damage than some of the other ships, which I approve of. Rotate, and do we get a full? Yeah, we got an angle on that. Okay, let's get that. That one's as close as it's gonna get. This one a little more snug right there. Rotator, fire. Done. Get the ogre in as close as she can get. That ogre was, I think, one of the first ships we ever captured. Doesn't have a whole lot to her. I'll tell you what. No rotation left on that. Oh, that was a solid hit. Wow, graviton beam, heavy neutron blaster. That was a 30 and a 30. I appreciate that a lot. Let's get the ship in. Taking a shot. Dang, she's nearly down. We're so close on this. So close. Get this one in. Firing. Done. Yeah, we'll keep the Cobra in the fight. The Cobra has a lot of weaponry besides missiles. That was a solid hit. Oh my gosh, she's nearly done, folks. Done. And the missile ships have fired. We will retreat. 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 And retreat. And more than anything, that's just so that we don't have to cycle through them if we were to need to again. Because I guarantee you, she just repaired herself. There go our missile ships. We were able to retreat several of them out. And, well, let's go auto at this point. We'll go weapons free and see if we can crush down the rest of that armor. Got a lot of ships of the line just pouring everything they have into this thing. I know with weapons such as mass drivers and gauze cannons, the damage does not decrease over range, but for the other ships, it does matter. Snugging in tight really does help boost the damage on something like a fusion beam in particular. Graviton beams, all that should matter. So I'm still surprised those ships aren't closing in as tight as they can. There we go. We won considerably. Look at the vista here. And there is a mythical city left by some horrible xeno species. Well, We'll loot it. After destroying the Guardian, you rescue a mighty warship piloted by Lochnar, early ancestor of humans. We'll have to do a little DNA test there and make sure those Orions are Terran. The famous Antaran hunter, and someone who hunts Antarans, not an Antaran. Lochnar has agreed to share his knowledge of the following technology: the Death Ray, the special spatial compressor, reflection field, and the Zentronium armor. That's fantastic. And yes, here we go. We colonize Orion 2, 3 food per farmer, 8 industry per worker, 8 research per scientist. It must be an artifact world with all the technology left behind by the precursor Orions. Fantastic. And we will leave the name Orion, and we do not need you to farm. There you go. So what do we need first here? We need, of course, an automated factory, followed by a marine barracks, followed by a robo-miner plant. And we'll get that missile base. And let's just jump straight to a battle station. So, yeah, we'll get working on that. We'll hit return. That was fantastic. So, I would say the first thing we want to do is refit our battleships. Now, we did not find a portal to the Terran's location. We can't cut through the exterior of this bubble universe, unfortunately. But we'll figure it out. We will figure it out at some point. Okay, let us design the Purger 1.6. And if anything, this will just help us wipe away the remaining Xenos all the more quickly. So we'll jump down here real quickly. We don't really have more space available. I don't know that there was anything extra we were interested in here. I see we've got, let's see, do we have the battle scanner? Yeah, currently we have heavy armor, reinforced hull, of course, a battle scanner, which is that plus 50% hit with beam weapons, the battle pods, which is more space, and the augmented engines to increase our combat speed. Yeah, we like to capture enemy ships, but were there any other modules that would matter? We don't really care about the missile evasion. Reduce range to hit penalties, nah. Reflect beam attacks, no. None of that matters too much to us. Shield recharge rate, doubling the damage that penetrates shields? Seriously? Oh. That is good. Can we squeeze that on? Ugh. Okay. Well, you can see our ships are going to be nearly indestructible with the Zentronium armor. I mean, like, that is a tough ship. I don't think the Xenos will be able to take out even a single one of them. Let's drop to a single tractor beam, single fusion bomb. Let's swap out the graviton beam with what? With the Death Ray. 50 to 100 points of damage, and it kills Marines. Yeah, that is absolutely brutal. Heavy mount, 75 to 150. Wow, that is a weapon. My goodness. And then do we want to keep the mass driver in there as she is? No, I don't think the mass driver's been that efficacious for us, to be quite honest. So I'm going to switch that to a no weapon. We've got our point defense. So we have one tractor beam, fusion bomb, a single massive death ray. I'm almost wondering if we should maybe lose a little bit of this armor. We have so much armor. I mean, don't get me wrong, one death ray would probably tear through these ships pretty easily. Especially doubling any damage that penetrates the shield. Gosh, I almost feel like we don't need a whole lot of point defense. Is there any other weapon we can squeeze on there at this point, though? We have no... I don't know what a death ray would do to a planetary surface. Remember, we don't have any missiles on these ships right now. That's kind of a problem. Let's get rid of the armor. I don't know if that's necessarily the better choice. It means that armor-piercing weapons can now pierce our armor. It's not great. But look where that leaves us. That leaves us with a 2,000 hit point ship as opposed to a 3,000. But that's a lot more than what we had before. I honestly don't know if the Xenos will be able to take out even one of these ships at this point. It does free up a lot of the space we need, though, so that we can leave our auto-fire point defense mass driver. Is there a better option 4 beam weapons, 4 point defense. No, the mass driver is the best point defense we have. We just suck at hitting anything with it, which kind of is what it is. I'll leave it, though. And now let's get a second best weapon. Would it be missiles? We've got the antimatter torp. We still haven't gotten a MIRV for the Mercurite, which is a bummer. What else could we look at? Bombs are just for bombarding planets. Spatial compressor, assault shuttles, anti-missile rockets. Don't sweat that. What else could we throw on there? A continuous fire graviton beam? It's not a bad idea. It does a good amount of damage. The continuous fire actually allows us to hit more reliably. A plus 25% chance to hit with that weapon. I like that. Let's go with a heavy mount graviton beam. So between the graviton beam and the death ray, I always I'm loath to rely on a single weapon type in case you ever have any sort of immunities or lack of vulnerabilities. But yeah, I mean, that heavy mount continuous graviton beam should hit regularly, chew through the shields, and then the death ray should do the rest. So let's up that fusion bomb again, and let's put a little more back into our mass driver. So we have a little more PD than before. That's it. That's the new ship. Nearly indestructible, I dare say. And we should have a really good chance of hitting with that graviton beam with the battle scanner. Of course, doubling any damage it gets to the shield, which we didn't have before. So we'll hit build. And we did rename that, right? Yeah, Persia 1.6. There you go. We'll hit return. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a go left here. I think we may start just wiping out the planets. Yeah, let's start switching everything over to the 1.6s. Oh, they're going in at Delta. I'm going to let them go if they have Marines. They don't. But they're insulting me. I want to see their Marines fight our Marines. Oh, yes. The Sakura are counter-attacking at Slaw with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trop ships. 10 times 4, 40 Marines against whatever's on the surface of Slaw. I just want to see the fight. Their Marines versus ours. I'm actually pretty excited about that right now. And we have the Avenger. Fantastic. Let's check the Avenger out. There's Lochnar. DNA shows that they are, in fact, the superior initial precursor species of this pocket dimension is, in fact, of course, naturally Terran descent. I don't think that surprises anyone. But this hero is now commanding the Avenger for us, which is a fantastic ship, complete with death rays, particle beams, everything you could ever want. I love it. I love it. Great beam attack, by the way, sitting at 185. The Avenger's not going to miss. This is a fantastic ship. Should we start dividing the fleet up at this point and just scouring all life from other... Yeah, that's probably what we should do. Let's start breaking these up into groups of 9. And I think at this point of the contest here, we can stop worrying about... Well, here, let's deselect all. Let's select the first 9 ships. And we will send them on to Zona. We'll close that group. Let's go back into Orion. Now, we will leave some ships behind. Whoa. Did they not go? What the heck? Gosh darn it. Sorry. Let's grab those 9 ships. And we will send them to Zona. Perfect. And then we'll select another group out of Orion here. I am going to protect Orion, though, since it does seem like an extremely valuable planet. We're going to go to Tarkuta. And we will leave the remaining ships to defend Orion for the time being as we continue to assemble our fleet together. What do we got here? New Terra's pumping out an additional battleship, and we'll head that onto Orion. Okay, so this will be interesting what's going to happen here. I actually wouldn't mind trying to stop these damn Xenos from digging into us at Delta, since they're not even going to do us the courtesy. Yeah, let's see if we can send a couple battleships in there. Let's send, let's deselect a few. There we go. We'll send this group to Delta. 3 turns out. Yeah, we'll run them off if we can, but they'll hit Delta. Soccer Fleet attacks Terran, a colony of Slaw Prime. They destroyed the colony. I was hoping they would launch a ground invasion. They destroyed their own colony. Phaser Rifle, a handheld rifle that can almost disintegrate an opponent with one blast, increasing the combat rating of militia, troops, and armor by plus 20. The bonus is not cumulative with other rifles. I think we're using the fusion beam rifle, but yeah, there's an extra 10 for us, I believe. What next? Good options here. Robotic Factory, certainly a good option. What about Microlight Construction? Interesting. That would increase our ability to output stuff. Warp Field, Lightning Field. I tell you, I really like that with the Lightning Field there. This destroys missiles and torpedoes. Let's go for the Lightning Field on our ships. It was so impressive what the Guardian was able to absorb with that one weapon. It's almost mythological. Here we are in Simac. They've just completed a Hollow Simulator. It's a lot of happy Terrans with a bit of pollution, unfortunately. Let's get them to supercomputer, biosphere, atmospheric renewer, and get upgraded that battle station, certainly. Recyclotron completed here. Almost no pollution. New Terra Prime is looking great. Let's get a battle station for defensive purposes. Our fleet is massive at this point. We don't need a whole lot of extra there. And yeah, we should have some fights coming up any moment.
You think you are big and powerful, Solf says that, but it is time to remind you that the Darlock Empire also has teeth to war.
Everyone is fighting us now. The Darlock fleet attacked Terran at colony of Sagitta Prime. Sagitta Prime bombed. Sagitta Prime destroyed. The Alkari fleets attack us at Delta 2. Gee, yeah, they brought in quite a few ships here. We'll go auto on this. These ships will be able to scour the missile base away. Will they have any troop transports to land, or will they just destroy the colony outright? Well, that's a significant amount of missile damage. Delta 2 is destroyed. Select combat at Tarkuda. Yeah, let's go auto. We'll go weapons free here. We're sort of at a slog point in our domination of the pocket universe. We've seen the style of battle over and over. I'm hoping these battle groups we're sending out are sufficient to take out the starbase weapons and annihilate everything on the surface. That's what I'm hoping for. The incoming missile salvos should be sufficient to take out that fighter garrison. There's not even a missile base here. And then that is a starbase, not a battle station, so they'll probably just punch through it since they're not going to elect to send Marines in this time. Will they even take out one of our ships of the line, though? That's the question. They should use the point defensive grid very effectively against these incoming fighters. We haven't had much trouble hitting fighter craft. We've had trouble hitting missile salvos, if you recall. Fighter garrison's going down. Again, the missiles are what's going to finish that. And I can see we're chewing through these fighters very quickly. Their numbers are depleting rapidly. I think that squadron was initially 40. I would guess it's down to near 20, 24 range right now. Punching through on the starbase pretty effectively. That should have taken care of the fighter garrison. Nope, almost. Well, there's enough missiles en route. It'll finish it off. That's not an issue. We've gotten through the shields on that starbase, and it's just a matter of chopping through. It's a shame almost their fighters never even reached one of our ships to do any damage. It's fine. We'll keep blasting them out of the sky. The mass driver point defense weapons are really effective against them. Triple shot. Wow, their point defense is on target. That is impressive. We have ECCM on our missiles. Just they don't countermeasure well enough, I suppose. Here we go. This should... Well, we got a ways to go. Ooh, a few fighters left. Gosh, we're just going to pound through this starbase, huh? We're hitting pretty good at this point. Fighters are gone. I don't see any left. I wonder if this takes longer than just doing it manual control, microing the ship commanders in. We don't have a lot of firepower, I'll tell you. That's very true. Although the death ray, I'm hoping on the Persia 1.6s, will greatly increase the damage output we do here. Still chewing through. The armor's nearly gone. About half of that structure. I find it interesting that although we send our Marines in to capture star bases and battle stations, we don't ever get to claim them. I'm not sure what happens in the decommissioning process or if they get deorbited. I don't really know. I've always found that unusual, though, that it doesn't become ours. So we have to rebuild from scratch. Wow. This is a chore. I see a missile salvo coming in. Will it take out that damaged Purger? Might. This should be about it for the starbase, though. One more hit. There we go. All right, no losses to the ships. And yeah, we're going to bombard the colony. Drop all. There's not a colony left. Okay. Missile base completed. We don't need this fellow farming right now. That is just a waste. This is on Montone. They have a touch of pollution, but I think other things are going to come in first here. We'll go with Research Lab, Spaceport, Starbase, Biosphere, Supercomputer, Stock Exchange, Holo Simulator for Happiness. There we go. Return. Finished with a spy here on Montone. No pollution. This is looking great. Let's get on with Purger's 1.6 production. Now, I've noticed, although we have a lot of our spies shuffled over, they're still not really getting any technology. We're at war with everyone, with the galaxy at this point. It's kind of game over for them. Maybe we could move the fleet off of Tarkuta, though, and take a crack at... yeah, let's just start pushing them forward here. We'll just take out everything, sweeping across as we go. And we'll rebuild the newer ships. Will come into Orion. We'll send them out as it goes. Just checking the time real quick. You know what? I think this is a good stopping point for this log, since we kind of know what's going to happen with upcoming battles. Ultimately, we're going to continue to eradicate all the Xenos before us, not even bothering to capture colonies anymore. We have more than enough population headroom, food-producing planets, everything we could want. We've captured the jewel of the pocket dimension, Orion. We have the Avenger and Lochnar with us, as well as some powerful new technologies. We'll continue to build up the Purger 1.6s, assemble a fleet of those, and when we start sending them out, I could see them cutting through star bases and battle stations with ease, as well as these Xeno ships. And ultimately, if we fall upon the technology that allows us to escape this pocket dimension or to take the battle to the Terrans, we will do that, but only time will tell. Until next time, friends.